Hello and welcome to this instalment of Talkin Trim. I'm Jonathan Skinner and today we are looking at the rear hood tacking strips for the Jaguar E-Type Open Two-Seater Roadster models. So the Series 1 and Series 2 cars were fitted with a tacking strip at the back of the car that was used during the fitment process for the Soft Top Convertible Hood. Originally from the factory they left in plywood in a three-piece kit, which we have an example of here. And then I'm also going to detail in this video the aftermarket versions of them, which we can offer a plywood version or a plastic version, and then the materials that are used to trim them and a basic overview of a method of trimming them. Now, before I get going on it, it's worth checking out the other videos linked at the end of this one, as I've actually done a video detailing this along with the associated weather equipment, soft top and the hood frame items. So do check that out. There'll be a link at the end of this video, but then do check out generally our YouTube channel, as there are lots of useful videos on there. But effectively what we're talking about here on the Series 1s and Series 2s, round this back circumference of the cabin where the soft top was actually fitted to, underneath effectively that soft top and the chrome finisher around there was a tacking strip that went round. It was in three pieces. You kind of had a pair of corner bits and then you had a main central piece which curved round. And basically what it was done, it was used to tack the actual hood in place, and then this chrome element was put it on to cover up the tacks and give a nice finishing touch to it all. And what we've got here is an original one here with some of the original material on the main section here. So you can see it's plywood. It gets wrapped in this vinyl leathercloth material, obviously to kind of match the main interior trim. And then you had the left, this is the left one, then the right one was the mirror image of that there. And they were plywood pieces. They were effectively screwed into, there's a lip that goes around the circumference of this, which obviously you can't see because it's all been trimmed in place, but there's a lip that goes around there and you actually screw it to the bodywork of the car. You can see the screw holes here on the original one there. And then you sort of wrap the material round. Now, there is a bit of a process to the way you actually trim this in terms of the screwing and the wrapping of it with the material to get it most effective. Now, what I've done is done a bit of a demo of how you should end up effectively trimming and wrapping it, but bear in mind we haven't got a car to put this against here, so you would be doing the screwing at a intermediate point during the trimming process, which I'll go over. But I just wanted to show you effectively the original ones here. You can see all the sort of pilot holes that were put in there, and the sculpted elements cutouts here, which are for the allowances for the little brackets that went on the hood frame cover that went around the car, that covered up the, or top boot cover as the Americans call it, that sort of covered up there. So our aftermarket versions, like I say, we offer the plywood version, which mimics the original one. They do have these sculpted pieces come out of them. Now, bear in mind, we always recommend you dummy fit these parts to the car first, and you might need to make some basic changes to it. You can actually see here that there are probably slightly longer on this one here, but basically what we recommend you do is we make these parts slightly bigger than they need to be, so that you have a bit of play during the fitment process to get it to fit correctly to your individual car. So do bear that in mind. But effectively the plywood is a sculpted piece of ply, three pieces, and then we sell that as a kit, three pieces. We also then sell the retrim kit, i.e. the material cut to shape but oversized for retrimming those. We sell the retrim kit, the material parts, separately to the actual tacking strips. So that's the kind of original version now with the wood tackings. Or we also offer a plastic composite version. Now, plastic composite comes in one piece like this, and then you'll have to effectively cut it and make some other little cuts, indentations in it to get it to wrap around the car. I can guide you through that if you are going through that process. But the beauty of the plastic version there is that it's a lot more, well, it is water resistant, waterproof compared to the wood there. And as you can see, over the course of time, it does take its toll, the water on the wood. Obviously any sort of moisture dripping down off the hood is going to potentially affect that. Now, obviously wrapping the plywood completely does help with that element of things, but obviously having plastic underneath is going to mean that you're not going to have any issues whatsoever, whereas plywood you might have some. But even that, I would say, you know, the time scale on that, yeah, this is 50, 60 years old now. So the likelihood of the amount of weather damage that you're going to get going forward is pretty minimal, because especially as though not many people actually take the cars out in bad weather these days anyway. So I wouldn't worry too much about that, but certainly the plastic is an option and covers you for the water damage side of it. So they're the two options basically. You have the plywood version there, or the plastic version here. We then sell the retrim kit separately. Standardly, we supply the retrim kit in vinyl to match the main trim. However, of course, we can supply it in other materials if you wish, but vinyl's the most obvious option there. And then I've got here an example of semi-trimmed version of the plywood here. So what we've done here, and like I say, because we haven't got it to the car, there is a bit of an in-between process to this, but effectively what you want to start doing is attaching it to the very bottom part, the bit that touches the bodywork of the car, and then sort of wrap it round and have the flap here, and then at that point you want to be putting your screws in to actually fix it to the bodywork of the car. And then once the screws are in, you then carry the material around and wrap it like we've done here, so that effectively the screws will get covered. It doesn't really matter, you could have the screws on show, because ultimately it's going to get covered up by the soft top and the chrome finishes anyway. But for a really neat job, that's what we tend to recommend, is effectively start the tacking process or gluing process on the very bottom as it touches the car, leave the material loose at the back here, then attach with your screws going along the bodywork, and then carry that material around and carry on the trimming process and wrap it round like this. And then what you end up doing, you end up with this big flap here, and that flap then goes down into the bodywork of the car. So you put it over the lip that's on the actual bodywork of the car, over that lip, and it basically tucks in behind the rear light area panels. So at the back of the car here, don't know if we've got any better images, not sure we do, unfortunately, but at the back of the car, if you're looking at the sort of rear bulkhead, just above that you do get the rear light area panels. Coming up short here, I'm afraid, guys. And you basically tuck that flap underneath that rear light area panel there in the actual cockpit cabin area, so just around here you have the light area panels. So you're actually tucking the material round and underneath. Perfect, there we go. So it wraps around, and you're effectively, in an ideal world, you're getting them behind these aluminium panels here and tucking that in. So it effectively gets glued down onto the kind of the rear bulkhead area behind those light area panels. If you do it that way, then it means you've got continued colour scheme going through the car, because actually sometimes what happens is you can see some of the other colours coming through this light section here, but if you wrap it around all that like that, it's going to come through as all the same color. So it's a neat way of doing it there. So that's the ideal version of doing it there. Same concept again on these ones here. You kind of wrap round, leave a flap, screw in, then carry on wrapping it round and underneath the sort of corner side areas around this section here. So that's the best way of trimming it, in our opinion. It's certainly the most comprehensive way of trimming it. It takes a bit more time, but it's certainly worth the effort. So that's the best way of doing it. So bear that in mind. So yeah, that's basically it for that. So like I say, just a bit of a quick recap. So it's the rear hood tacking strips for the Series 1 and Series 2 E-Type Open Two-Seater Roadsters. You have a retrim kit, which we sell as one kit here, normally in vinyl or leathercloth to match your main interior trim. You then have options on which version you want. We have the plastic version there, which is obviously water resistant and takes a bit of cutting and editing to get it onto the car, or you have the plywood versions here, which are sold in 3 pieces. They are sculpted, but again, you want to match it up to your car, make any small additions and changes to it, changes to it before you start the actual fitment process. And then a basic overview of how it gets trimmed, and like you can see here, this is the original one here. So it's all designed to stay in tune with the originality side of things, but potentially with a bit of an upgraded obvious material choice there. Anyway, hope you found that useful. Please do check out the video links at the end of this one. Like I say, there is a good one there that links into the hood frame covers, which is what these sort of sculpted bits are for, is for those clips on the hood frame covers or when it's attached to the car. In fact, coincidentally on that page there, so they sort of wrap around there, these sort of hooks like that go round. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. Check out the other videos on my YouTube channel. Obviously, if you've got a Roadster restoration coming up, let us know if we can be of assistance. I look forward to hearing from you, and please be sure to tune in next time. Thank you very much.